All right, hello there and welcome to the Disability Law Show. John Scholes, Sivan Tumarkin right beside me. Well, kind of beside me. We're still doing the physical distance thing, but we're both in our respective studios and ready to do the show. Tune in for this. Stick around. A lot of information here you probably don't know about, but should know about when it comes to disability law. On the show today, we're going to get through 3 things you should be asking your disability lawyer before you ask them and bringing them on to fight your insurance company. That is on the way. But in the meantime, the reach out, 1-855-821-5900 and disabilityrights.ca. And for the foreseeable future, covidrights.ca is going to be a website you'll want to check out anytime as well. How are you, pal?
I'm great, John.
Good, good.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Let's start off with something a bit unorthodox.
Oh.
So viewers out there know that I'm a disability lawyer, but you know, more importantly, I'm an insurance lawyer. I deal with all kinds of insurance disputes. Not just myself, but members on my team. I mean, we do long-term disability claims against insurance companies on behalf of individuals who've been denied or cut off long-term disability all the time. But we also represent them with car accidents, slip and falls, because again, you're dealing with insurance companies at the end of the day. Let me tell you, John, about an interesting case that I'm dealing with right now that doesn't have anything to do with injury, or at least not physical injury. I was approached by a group of dentists because they have business interruption insurance, just like many businesses out there have. And of course, now we're with COVID-19. Many places, many businesses are non-essential, so they shut down by government order and decree. And of course, they've turned to their insurance company and said, look, I have business interruption insurance. Please pay me as per the insurance policy that I've been paying premiums for. Now, in the vast majority of business interruption insurance policies that I see, in order to actually get money for business interruption, you have to show that there was some kind of a physical damage or there was physical impact on your premises as a result of whatever it is you're claiming a loss for. So usually you're dealing with a fire loss, right? You have a fire loss, your premises may be burnt down or damaged, so there's physical damage. This pandemic obviously is not creating physical damage, and many of these businesses shut down even though there was no cases of COVID in the actual business. Right. But some of these businesses, especially after SARS in 2003, got additional endorsements as add-ons to their policies. And some of those endorsements say that in the event of an infectious disease, somewhere in the vicinity or within a certain radius, if that happens and if public authorities, health authorities shut you down, you should be able to claim for business interruption losses, right? For the fact that you can't earn revenue now. Well, these dentists who came to me have that kind of an endorsement. It says that they have an infectious disease endorsement. Despite that, believe it or not, John, the insurance company that insures them, that's been taking premiums for them for years, denied their claim. And we're talking about 6-figure claims for each one of these offices, and there's quite a few of them. And I suspect it's across Ontario and across BC that you have businesses who actually have these kinds of endorsements that protect them for business interruption, and yet despite having those endorsements, insurance companies are coming with all variety of excuses not to pay. And I saw the denial letter that this insurance company sent these dentists. It's nonsense. The insurance company is reading an implied exclusion. They're basically saying that the policy contains some exclusion or some requirement that has not been fulfilled when the policy doesn't have that. So these dentists don't know what to do because they're not getting paid. Of course, I told them, you have now recourse. We can go after the insurance company. I actually don't think it's going to be a very difficult thing to resolve here. But I suspect, John, just like with long-term disability claims, these insurance companies out there are betting that many of these businesses who are hemorrhaging money, who are in dire straits, who are about to go bankrupt, are simply going to walk away, or they're going to go to the government and ask for some aid, which of course they're doing anyways because they want to survive. But these insurance companies should be stepping up. These businesses paid for these premiums, they paid for these policies, and now they're being shut out. I actually think the government should be stepping in and forcing insurers to pay. This is absolute bad faith, in my opinion, based on what I've seen. So we're going to help these people, we're going to help these dentists, we're going to help any kind of business that has this kind of an endorsement that has been shut out by the insurance company.
It's so bizarre, too, because it's such a specific clause in insurance, because of infectious disease. Who'd ever think? And here we are, but still they're going, no.
And John, just to make sure that I wasn't missing anything, I ran this by my partner, James Fireman, and he had the exact same reaction. First of all, it was disgust at the insurance company for denying these claims. And secondly, it was outrage But here's the thing. We know that we can force these insurers to pay. A lot of these people, dentists, other businesses, they're looking at bankruptcies. They're looking at never coming back from this. We know we have the power to help them. And we're not the only ones. There are other lawyers that have this kind of a specialty. But my point is, people should not be walking away. Check if you're a business or you know somebody that has a business. Tell them to check their insurance policy. If they have a broker, check with the broker. See if there is an additional endorsement for business interruption, specifically as a result of infectious disease like COVID-19 or a pandemic or something like that. Believe it or not, you may have it. And if you do, you should be making a claim to the insurance company for a business interruption loss.
You want more information, guys, anytime, it's 1-855-821-5900. Disabilityrights.ca is the website. You can go there as well to catch the long-running radio show that Sivan and myself and James does them as well across the country. And there's got to be a station near you where you can catch the show. From the radio shows, we play back the phone calls. We get lots of them, and we talk about them right here. First call for today's show is right now.
My husband has severe COPD. The company was saying that you have to show symptoms before you get on short-term disability. We have 3 doctors saying that he shouldn't be working right now. And I'm also a PSW and a waitress. I cannot work because it puts him at risk. We were denied after a month of short-term disability. I guess my question is, we went for the CERB only out of sort of desperation. We sort of accepted the denial, but I just feel it's a bit unjust.
John, I want to address a few issues here because this is quite important. I do get contacted during this COVID-19 pandemic. I do get contacted by people, again, across Ontario and BC, which is where we have offices, who say, look, I have a certain condition, whether it's COPD or some kind of an other, immunity compromised situation, or I have somebody in my family, somebody who's undergoing cancer treatments, for example, so, their immunity is compromised. And I don't want to go to work, and my doctor agrees. Look, disability insurance, short-term and long-term, are there to cover you if you are disabled from working. But these kinds of requests to be on disability as a precautionary measure, that you can't do. The insurance company would be correct, in my view, in denying a claim like that. Right? I mean, the lady who called here legitimately is concerned, legitimately for herself and for her husband. But the problem is that they're not actually disabled. It's just that he has COPD and they're afraid that he's going to contract this COVID-19 and then, it could be very, very dangerous for him.
Right.
So not working as a precautionary measure does not qualify as disability. But the interesting thing here, which I found very odd, which I would want to explore further, is she says that he's been on short-term disability for a month. So does that mean that the insurance company has already accepted the claim of him being on disability for a month? There are 3 doctors here who apparently say he can't work. So again, there's the point about a precautionary measure. You can't be on disability. You can't claim disability if it's to prevent you from getting sick. However, in a case where the insurance company has said, we confirm that you are sick and we're going to pay you disability, they can't cut you off unless you are better and unless they have some evidence that shows that you are in fact able to go to work, right? Because in this case, again, they paid him for a month. The other issue I want to say is that she mentioned that they accepted the denial. Remember, what does it mean to accept the denial? If you've been denied long-term disability or short-term disability, perhaps by accepting, you mean I'm walking away from my rights and I'm not going to challenge the insurance company. Well, remember, you have 2 years from the date you were first denied to challenge the insurance company legally, meaning, I'm not talking about appeals, okay? Don't appeal. I'm talking about starting a legal claim to force the insurance company to pay you or a loved one what they are owed. So as long as you are within that 2-year mark and you're still disabled from working, give me a call, email me. We will have a chat. I want to see some of the medical documentation you've given the insurance company, the denial letter, and I'll tell you within a matter of minutes on the phone or by email whether or not you have a case. And chances are, John, if you're unable to work, if the husband is unable to work because of a disability, not as a precautionary measure, but from a disability, and the doctors back that up, he should be getting paid by the insurance company.
The reach out, by the way, email is help@disabilityrights.ca. The phone call works, 1-855-821-5900. We'll take a quick break here, and when we get right back at it, the 3 things you need to find out about your disability lawyer before you hire them to take on your insurance company. That is on the way on the Disability Law Show. Stick around.
You lost your job. They only gave you 2 weeks of severance per year worked. But where can you find out what you're really owed?
I'm going to severancepaycalculator.com.
Find out how much you're owed right now. severancepaycalculator.com.
You've been denied long-term disability. You think you're powerless, but you have a lot more power than you think. I'll tell you a secret. It's a numbers game for the insurance company. They're betting on you walking away from money that they owe you. Don't make that mistake. We resolve disability claims all the time. We force insurers to pay what they owe. We're in your corner.
Call Sivan and his team, 1-855-821-5900, or go to disabilityrights.ca. You lost your job. They said they had a good reason, but you think you've been wrongfully dismissed. Now what are you going to do?
I'm going to employmentlawyer.ca.
Always check with the employment lawyer first at employmentlawyer.ca.
All right, welcome back. Good to have you with us. Disability Law Show. John Scholes and Sivan Tumarkin beside me, and we're going to talk about this now. 3 things you need to find out. You need to ask about your disability lawyer before you hire them to fight the insurance company. Number 1 is this: how much experience does this firm, his or her firm, have fighting LTD cases? Right?
Yeah, exactly. And John, you know, the topic itself is kind of strange, right? I mean, why am I telling people what you should be looking out for when you're hiring a disability lawyer? I mean, at the end of the day, I want you to hire me and my firm, right? I mean, that would be the ideal situation for us to be able to help you. But the reason I have this here is because, John, not everybody wants to hire us for whatever reason, right? I mean, we are here to give out information. So in the event that you are looking for a disability lawyer and you want to do your due diligence, which is okay, here's what I think you need to focus on. And you can apply this to us too, okay? That's very important. Because as far as I'm concerned, we checkmark everything, but it's something you need to keep in mind as you are looking for the right representation. So how much experience does the lawyer in the law firm have? This is absolutely crucial, right? I mean, if you need to have life-saving surgery, do you want the surgeon that's been around the block, the one who wrote the book, the one who, you know, has been in the hospital and done countless surgeries, etc., or do you want the new guy, or do you want the guy who's never done surgeries that, you know, is on call every Saturday, you know, for a few hours and, you know, perhaps advises his colleagues on a few things here and there? You want whoever has the most experience. Now, when it comes to disability claims, there are 2 kinds of experience. There is the experience of working for individuals who have been cut off disability or denied long-term disability, and then there is the experience that you bring to the table as a lawyer if you've worked for the other side, if you've worked for insurance companies. And John, for anybody that's been watching the show and listening to our radio shows, you know our lawyers, including myself, have worked for insurance companies in the past. In fact, one of the newest additions to our team is a very senior lawyer who used to be one of the top lawyers for one of the biggest disability insurance companies in the country. And she switched sides. And I can tell you, I have no doubt that the insurance company that she was working at up until recently is shaking in their boots every time they see her now on the opposite side of a claim. Why? Because she knows how they operate. She knows their style, just like I know how insurance companies generally defend these kinds of claims. I know what their weaknesses are. So if I marry together the experience that I have, that I've gained helping insurance companies in the past, in the distant past, but also what I've gained in the over 15 years that I've been doing this work on behalf of injured individuals and individuals who've been denied claims, that's solid experience. And when you take that together with the whole group, the group that we have, both here in Ontario and in BC, unmatched. It's very formidable. Trust me when I tell you, experience matters, and insurance companies know it.
Question number 2 of the 3 things you should be asking your potential disability lawyer before you take on the insurance company. Does that firm also practice employment law? A lot of people are going to scratch their heads at this one, but I know why.
Yeah, it's important, you know, because if you only do employment law or if you only do disability law and you're unaware about how those 2 areas of law intersect, then you are at risk of losing money if you're dealing either with your employer but you're disabled, or with the insurance company if you have an issue with your employment. I'll give you a very, very simple example. Imagine you've been let go from your job while you're on LTD, while you're getting long-term disability, and you hire an employment lawyer that doesn't understand the interplay between the two areas of law. Well, in that situation, if your employment lawyer negotiates severance for you, well, guess what? Most LTD policies contain provisions that entitle the insurance company for a credit of that severance. So the employment lawyer may be doing a fantastic job for you, except that you're not going to see a cent because it's going to get eaten up by the insurance company. But if you have the knowledge of both sides, if you have a firm or lawyers within that firm that understand both sides of the equation, you're protected on all sides. And that's absolutely crucial. Another example I'll give you, John, very, very important. Imagine you have an employment lawyer, and imagine that employment lawyer negotiates a good severance for you, but you're not on disability yet, but you think that you may be on disability in the near future. Okay? Now imagine that as part of your settlement with your employer, you sign a full and final release, that document releasing the employer from any future claims. Many employment lawyers don't recognize that those releases sometimes contain language that prohibit you from making any claims against the insurance company for disability. So you just negotiated severance, you've concluded that matter, but as part of the conclusion of that matter, you've now taken away your own right to go after your insurance company for denying you a claim if that happens. So you see, John, very, very important. If you are looking for a disability lawyer, you want to make sure that lawyer either understands employment law sufficiently to be able to help you on both sides, or you go to a law firm like ours whose only focus is employment and disability law. That's all we do. We do those kinds of law. We do insurance law, disability law, and we do employment law. So you want to make sure you do that. Otherwise, you're at risk. You're at risk of potentially not getting yourself fully covered.
All right, question number 3, the third thing you need to find out from your potential long-term disability lawyer before going after that insurance company. And we're going to kind of steal this one from the real estate world. Instead of location, 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 it's reputation, reputation, reputation.
I can't tell you, John, how important reputation is, the reputation of the lawyer. And I'll give you some examples. I was speaking recently with a friend of mine who still works for the insurance side, the dark side. He's a lawyer, great guy. I've known him for many, many years, and he's a defense lawyer. He defends claims for insurance companies. And we were just chatting recently about some law firms out there who are, still in operation despite COVID. And he's telling me, every time I get a claim, a legal claim, and I can see that law firm is the representative, that they're the ones on the claim representing the individual, I immediately assume that the claim is not significant because they take every claim, even claims that have no merit, even situations with disability where the person is not really disabled and it's clear as day they're not disabled, they take on that claim because they figure they can make a buck or two. Remember, insurance companies, insurance lawyers, they know who the players are. And that's, by the way, the same thing in the employment world. My partner, Lior, has a phenomenal reputation in the field, one of the top lawyers in the country in employment law. That's the same reputation that we have on the disability side when it comes to insurance companies. So here's the thing. You can't ask a lawyer, do you have a good reputation? What are they going to tell you? Of course they're going to tell you that they have a good reputation. You have to do your due diligence. You have to Google the names of the lawyers. You have to Google the names of the law firm. You'll see. If you look at us, you look at our Google reviews, you look at how many times we've been in the media with success stories. At the end of the day, it comes down to who is representing you. Just like it comes down to who do you want to do your operation, your surgery? Do you want the top-notch guy or girl, the people who are top in the field, or do you want sort of the one-offs or the ones that, came out of medical school yesterday? Same thing with law. And you also want to be careful that you don't get a lawyer or a law firm that don't really specialize in this area. The last thing you want, John, is to go to a real estate lawyer who says, I can help you with your disability claim. Good luck. Good luck. It's like going to a dentist for heart surgery. You're not going to do that. They can be the best dentists in the world, but they're not equipped and they don't have the experience necessary and the knowledge, theoretical and practical, to do surgery on you. Same thing with lawyers. You want lawyers with a reputation. You want a law firm with a reputation because that's what's going to drive up the settlement value at the end of the day, and that means inevitably more money in your pocket.
We'll take a quick break here, pal, and when we come back from it, do you have to do a transferable skills assessment if you're unable to work? We'll tackle that. On the other side, 1-855-821-5900 is a number to reach out. This is the Disability Law Show. We're coming right back.
You were being harassed, and when you said something about it, you're the one who lost your job. Now what are you going to do?
I'm going to employmentlawyer.ca.
Always check with the employment lawyer first at employmentlawyer.ca.
Insurance companies deny long-term disability claims all the time. They give lots of excuses. Don't give up. I've seen it all. They've ignored your doctors, they've ignored you. You're angry and you're frustrated. But there's hope. We resolve disability claims all the time. We force insurers to pay what they owe. We're in your corner.
Call Sivan and his team, 1-855-821-5900, or go to disabilityrights.ca. You thought you had a secure job. You didn't see it coming. Now what do?
I'm going to employmentlawyer.ca.
Always check with the employment lawyer first at employmentlawyer.ca.
All right, welcome back. This is the Disability Law Show. I'm John Scholes. He is Sivan Tumarkin. And if you want to catch the radio show as well, disabilityrights.ca. You can go there anytime. We're all across the country. We do it every week. We take the phone calls from the show. We play them back right here. We'll get to the second phone call for today, Sivan, right now.
I've been on long-term disability for about a year and a half because of a neurological disorder that has been getting progressively worse. I can't continue to work in any capacity, and my doctors have said I won't be able to return to work again. My insurance company now wants me to do a transferrable skills analysis. I don't understand why. Do I have to participate in this, and what do they hope to get out of the assessment?
Excellent question, John. This is something that comes up quite often in the long-term disability context. Let's break this down. Transferable skills assessment or analysis is exactly what it sounds like. They're trying to figure out if you have transferable skills, meaning can you do another job because of the skills that you have. Some people are very educated and have a ton of experience. Insurance company is going to be interested to look at your resume to see what other jobs you've held in the past. They're going to try and figure out what other skills do you have to be able to do something else. Now, here's why this is important. This gentleman here is saying that he's been on LTD for about a year and a half. Remember that the majority of LTD policies contain a requirement for you to actually get LTD. For the first 2 years, the test or the requirement is that you are disabled from doing your own occupation, right? The essential aspects of your own occupation. Beyond the 2-year mark, or to get benefits beyond that 2-year mark, which this gentleman is approaching soon, the test changes. It becomes more difficult. Now it's no longer can you do the essential tasks of your own occupation. It's the essential tasks of any occupation for which you have training, experience, and education. So it's very important to understand that now the insurance company's analysis has shifted, or is shifting, or is about to shift, from can you do your job to any job. Your occupation, any occupation. So at that point, they often want you to either see one of their doctors, they want you to see or to do this kind of a transferable skills analysis or assessment, and there's a whole slew of other assessments they may be asking you to do that we're not talking about right now, but which are specifically relevant to this issue of can you do another occupation, can you work somewhere else? Now, this is important because as soon as they ask you to do this, either something like this or some other assessment with their doctors, they are gearing up essentially to figure out if they can cut you off either at the 2-year mark or just before the 2-year mark. This is absolutely crucial for you to understand because you have to be on your guard. You always have to tell the truth, of course, but you want to make sure that you are speaking with your doctors regularly. You want to make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted so that if you need updated documentation from your doctors to say that you continue to be disabled, now they have to explain or confirm that you're unable to do any occupation for which you're suited for by training, education, or experience. So that's why it's important. Now, the question as to whether or not this gentleman has to actually do this kind of an assessment, yes, he does. He doesn't have to do 5 of them or even 2 of them, but he's got to do 1 of them under your policy provisions. If you're on LTD, there is a provision, there are requirements for you to comply with certain types of things that the insurance company is asking you to do, one of which is assessments. So he's going to have to do this, but he should, my advice is to get a copy of whatever report is generated and then speak about the results of that assessment with your doctors. And if your doctors do believe that you're still disabled from doing any occupation, not just your own occupation, but any, get the doctor to explain why he or she thinks that, give that to the insurance company to counteract any conclusions from this report, which may give the insurance company an excuse to cut you off.
How about the requirement of what they call commensurate income? Where does that come into play?
So that means that for them to say to you that we think that you can do some other job for which you have some training, education, or experience, they can't just tell you, John, that if you're a heart surgeon to go and work at Starbucks. Nothing wrong with working at Starbucks, but you're not going to make anywhere near what you made as a heart surgeon at Starbucks, unless you're the CEO of Starbucks. But generally speaking, when we try to assess if a particular job is a job that you should be able to do based on your experience and academic background, etc., we're looking to see if you can earn 60 or 65% of your pre-disability income in that other job. And if the answer is yes, the insurance company then may have a point in saying that you don't qualify beyond the 2-year mark. But John, oftentimes, people, when they call me and they contact me, they say, look, the insurance company came up with 10 different jobs they say I can do, but I can't make more than 30% of my pre-disability income in any of those jobs. So yeah, I can do those, but they're nothing compared to what I earned before. Well, insurance company cannot force you then to take one of those jobs. You have to be able to earn at least 60, 65%. That's usually the benchmark, usually what we're looking at when we're trying to figure out if, in fact, you can do some other occupation for which you have training for or education or experience.
Going to quickly slide in an email here in our remaining few minutes, and it is help@disabilityrights.ca. This one comes from Danica. Danica says, my parents have watched your program for a long time, which is great, and they told me to call you about my situation. I've been fighting with employer and insurance company for almost 2 years now because they keep rejecting my disability claim. First, I went on EI sick benefits, and then when I applied for long-term disability, which my employer is supposed to pay, the insurance company they have that handles the claim said that I'm not totally disabled, so I don't qualify. I work in an auto plant and my job's very physical. I have very bad migraines and chronic pain throughout the day. I'm 52, and if I don't get this disability, I don't know what I will do. My doctors agree that I can't work at this point. I've tried to appeal several times, and as you guys say, the appeals don't work. I've seen that firsthand. My question is whether I'm out of time to start a legal claim.
No, you're not, Danica, and let me be very clear here. I'm not surprised that your appeals went nowhere. That's what we keep saying here on the show. These appeals, for the most part, are useless. Okay, all you're doing is re-asking the same insurance company that cut you off in the first place to reconsider their decision. They have no incentive to do so. A legal claim is what you need to start right now. And the thing is this, remember, you have 2 years. So you're saying you're getting close to that 2-year mark. We got to start the claim now. There is urgency here. John, I mean, her parents are great people for telling her to contact us because we'll be able to help you. The fact that you have doctors who are telling you that you are disabled, you're disabled, and the insurance company here has decided to just reject you over and over, no, we can resolve this claim fairly quickly. Now, tying back to what we talked about at the beginning of the show, John, you see, this is an interesting situation. Her employer is the one supposed to be paying the LTD, but employers don't have expertise in these kinds of claims. So they hire insurance companies to adjudicate these claims. So it's not the insurance company paying, but they're making decisions on behalf of the employer. So here you have a situation where if there is a legal claim, it would likely be against the insurance company and probably against the employer because the insurance company is the one who adjudicated incorrectly, saying you don't deserve LTD, and the employer is the one not paying. But this may raise employment issues because she's going after the employer. So you see, it's very important now to have a disability lawyer, exactly what we've talked about before, that understand both the employment angle and the disability angle. John, I'm telling you, we'll be able to help Danica. Her parents are angels for telling her to call us. At the very least, we'll give her the advice she needs to understand how to move forward with this. Whether she comes to us or a different disability lawyer, it doesn't matter. The issue is that she now knows that she has a claim and she has to proceed through the legal route.
And that'll do it for another day. Good stuff, my friend. You want to reach out to Sivan and the crew. Simple, 1-855-821-5900. help@disabilityrights.ca is that email address. You can simply go to disabilityrights.ca, the website, to catch past TV shows and find out where you can see and listen to our radio show. And for the foreseeable future, covidrights.ca is a website you can use as well. We'll catch you next time on the Disability Law Show. Appreciate it.